Good afternoon. How are we doing? Good. Thank you.
DQ was in here a little earlier and said he's got the utmost confidence in you, and you've been called on last year and played well. How much does the support mean to you this week? Like a week filled with uncertainty, as it sounds like they're gonna see how Jaden's injury is progressing. Yeah,
it's huge, really. I think that's what's been awesome about this team. We kind of preach it every single day, but just the brotherhood, the connection, regardless of how this situation plays out, just knowing that the guys have my back gives me confidence to just go out there and be myself and play to the best of my abilities.
With you and Jaden are obviously different people, different quarterbacks. There's no Austin out there. Noah's dealing with injury. John Bates. How different could a game look like with you than Jaden out there?
Again, we just have to wait and see. But what's been nice is we've been able to kind of keep things very similar, regardless of who's playing at the position, even during preseason. And if it comes down to it, Cliff will ask me what things I like, what I don't like, and then we'll just roll. But from that standpoint, from an offensive standpoint, with our abilities across the quarterback room, it's been nice the fact that we can kind of keep the same system throughout each guy.
Marcus, how have you felt physically, and can you walk us through the preseason, and when did you feel really like you were back to yourself?
Yeah, I would say I started to kind of feel like myself over the course of the last couple of weeks. It's one of those things with the tendonitis, you just kind of have to rest. And the team was willing to kind of let me do that through training camp. We do a great job of getting a bunch of walkthrough reps. So for me, from a mental standpoint, I felt like I was always engaged. And once I felt good physically, I could just kind of come back and roll with everybody.
Marcus, I know the Raiders have some familiar faces to you, like Max Crosby, but they've had a lot of change on that side of the ball on defense. What have been your impressions of them just through the first couple of games of the season?
Yeah, I think one person that's really stood out to me is Devin White. I've played against him a few times in my career, but I think him just being around the ball, flying around, it's impressive. And, you add Max. Max is going to get his. He always has. Being around that team for a couple years, you understand that he's kind of the heart and soul of that team. And he's going to give it everything he's got, every single play. So we understand that. And, they got a young back end, but they're great. I think they've played really well. They had tough couple tasks early on in the year to play some of these guys. And, Caillou was here with us last year. I think he's an awesome player. And he's really showed out and made a few plays and kind of splashed. So, again, we've got our work cut out for us. But I think for us, it's just about doing what we do and staying ahead of the chains and executing.
Marcus, for you, what would you say is the biggest difference between preparing in case you need to play versus if you do wind up starting knowing you're going to play?
Well, for me, I've always tried to approach it the same. So I always try to approach it like I'm going to play. That way, if the scenario happens where I'm given the opportunity to play, nothing changes for me on a week-to-week basis. So my routine stays the same, and I think it just kind of creates that normal procedure for me, and it allows me just to go out there and play and not have to worry about, okay, I got to do this extra, I got to do that. I just kind of stick to my process and allow that process to work.
Being a starting quarterback for so many years in the National Football League, you obviously are a competitor, and you've always wanted to be that starting quarterback. To have that opportunity possibly again on Sunday, because you don't know how many more times that could come down the road here. What is that like for you to maybe be that starter again?
Well, just grateful. And I think for me, I've just been very thankful for my time here and being around these guys. It's such a fun group. But like you said, you never really know what this is going to look like through the course of your career, and every opportunity you get to play, I'm just grateful for it. So if it comes down to that, I'll be excited to play, and I'll be really looking forward to it.
Hey, Marcus, you know Jaden very well. What do you tell him in a situation like this? Because obviously he's going to want to try and get out there. What do you tell him, if anything, about what he needs to do or how to approach it?
Yeah, I think it comes down to, if you feel like you can do what you normally do, then go ahead. I've been in situations, scenarios like this where you try to fight through it and maybe you're not playing like yourself, and it's hard because you want to be able to be out there for your team and kind of tough it out, so to say. But I think at the end of the day, you want to be able to be the best version of yourself, And we understand Jay's going to do everything in his power to be able to be ready to play. But I think that's what's cool about our quarterback room is that we're so close, and regardless whoever's in there, like we're going to support that guy. So we always tell him, man, just be you. And if you feel like through the course of this week you get back to that point, great, and we'll support you. You'll be ready to roll. If you need a week, then that's okay. I'll be ready to go too. So it comes down to just having that communication and just making sure he understands that we support his decision, whatever that is.
And when you went in last year, you had a couple really good games. What about this offense do you feel suits you well?
I think there's a lot of aspects. I really feel like for us as quarterbacks, like we have a really great connection with Cliff. I feel like through the course of those games last year, I could kind of get a feel of like how he wanted to call it. And when you have that type of connection with your play caller, like you feel good about what's coming in. So I think for me, I love the aspect of being able to control the tempo of the game. We can huddle, we can get on the ball, we can do all sorts of different things. But I think for all of us, it's just being confident in what's being called and knowing that Cliff's going to put us in a situation to be successful.
How much is Jaden still in communication with you and the other quarterbacks and Cliff throughout this process?
Oh yeah, every day, and I think it's important to, I think for all of us, like we don't ever want to deal with the uncertainty or what's going on. So just being able to understand and being transparent about what the situation looks like. So yeah, again, like we said, we communicate throughout the day, see how he's feeling. I'm sure he's tired of everybody asking him how he's feeling. But again, when it comes down to it, if he's ready to roll, we'll support him and give him everything he's got.
And just having been through this similar scenario last year ahead of the Bears game, do you draw anything from that? I mean, I know this is not new to you, but just the way everything worked out here, do you take anything from that process?
Well, I think it just for me personally, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, just sticking to my process and trusting that process. I've been through this journey for quite some time now, so just understanding that the way that I've prepared for years has given me the confidence to go out there and play well, and just continuing just to lean on that.
Hey, Marcus, you've been able to step back and look at this offense through training camp, through preseason, through these first two games. What have you seen about this offense that you really like?
I just love the fact that we're putting our guys in situations to be successful. I think we're not really pigeonholing guys or they got to, like, you only run this route or you only do this. Like, our guys are able to do everything. And the versatility of that allows some cool things within the system to allow guys to just go out there and play. So I love the speed at which we play. I think guys fly around here. And just the unselfishness, really. Like, guys are going to touch the ball maybe 5 or 6 times a game, and then there's going to be times where maybe you're only going to get it once. But these guys are willing to do whatever it takes to win, and I think for me that's quite enjoyable.
Hey, Marcus, I mean, you just mentioned a moment ago about the support that you have for, from your brothers and from your teammates here. I noticed that you all have a really hard time getting over a loss. So how do you focus, whether it's you're starting on Sunday or not? How do you just get that focus to potentially lead the team in week 3?
Well, for me personally, it's flushing it the next day. I try to give myself a 24-hour window of just like really reflecting on what that game was and how we can be better and where we can improve. And then from there, it's like just move on. It's always nice to come back on the practice field. Thursday night losses are tough because you have an extra couple of days to sit there and kind of just like listen to everybody talk about it and how how come you didn't do this and that. But at the same time, I think when you're able to take a moment and step back and look at it, you can find ways to improve. And when you get back on the practice field is when it just kind of allows you to do that. And that's when I feel like, for me personally, I love just getting back on the field and getting back on the grass and just finding ways to improve.
Marcus, obviously with Jaden getting hurt, there's this, everybody's out there, when he's running, get down, stay out of traffic and all that. Your guys been known to run yourself. How did you ever come to grips with the risk reward of that, or have you come to grips as a competitor with that?
It's definitely a happy medium. There's a balance, and as a competitor, you always want to get that first down or make that splash play or never give up on a play. And it's hard, and I think over time, it's just things that you have to experience to be able to kind of find those windows of, okay, I got to get down here, or, maybe just throw that one away. And it's hard because for us in a quarterback room, like we all try to go off of our experiences and explain to Jay, hey, here's the moment where maybe you can get the ball out, but at the same time, like we never want to take away his superpower, and that's being able to create and use his legs. And the more that we can kind of create those things naturally and allow him to just be himself and play instinctually, that's when he is at his best. So the more that we can just continue to hone in our own experiences and explain, like, hey, maybe this is where we could have done a little better job, but at the same time, it's just allowing him to be him.
Appreciate it, Marcus.
All right, you guys, thank you.
Locker room's open.